Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a bench press day. But a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below, be greatly appreciated. All right, today I decided I really want to start cutting my exercise selection down and just really target my volume. And it doesn't mean session to session I'm not going to adjust it, it just means inside a session I don't want to do too many exercises. So today I maxed on a floor press, and 315 felt pretty dang heavy, especially straight legs coming to a dead stop. So I stopped it there. That felt real close to a true max. So again, like I said, strength is down. We're not at the strongest I've been. I'm going to slowly build it back up, but at least I'm consistently hitting at least 315 on all my bench variations, whether it's closed grip, pin presses, floor presses, whatever. And I did more than that on my last bench. Now, that being said, we know where the weak links are. We know we've got to build stuff back up, and it's been kind of a hard fight on pressing since my move, since me getting really sick with that whole black mold situation, which I don't want to get into all that. I'm not even going to get into things people said about that. We'll leave it alone. All right, over to the training. I decided to work on mainly floor presses and rows today as my big movements. So, and I think this is probably what I'm going to do. I think for chest pressing, I'm either going to do a floor press, a pause bench, or a pause incline. But I'm probably going to put a little more of the work towards just the flat benching. I think I'm going to bring the reps back up just a little bit so that it builds chest better. I've discussed that in the past of the data on that. I want to focus more on just rowing. And these sort of rows off the floor, when I've got good at them, I did lots of them. They always built my back really big without doing other stuff. And I have all these other tools and I've rotated through a lot. But it seems like no matter what I do over the years, I just come back to a normal row off the floor. Irrespective of what I've done with other rowing, with pull-ups, chin-ups, it's always done really well for me, as long as my low back can handle the workload. Right? As long as it can, then I'm good. So I'm like, let's just stick with it. It's always been easy on my shoulders. I've always been able to tolerate high volumes of it. And it made me thick. So we might as well. I missed one of the clips today. By the way, this footage is coming up really, really late. I had a lot of technical issues today with the cameras, reading the SD cards, but I've got it somewhat resolved. So I'm getting this up. I did lose one of the sets of these. I think I only have 4 sets recorded of the rows, but it was 5 sets. So we did 5 sets of floor presses, 5 sets of rows. Then I threw all of my work into arm work, really, after that, which is what I'm going to discuss. And I think that's what I want to do. I want to focus on one good press and one good pull on both my bench press days every week. Get an effective volume that we know is enough, and push those exercises hard. And if I want variation, I really need to do it day to day. But kind of like my lower days, I think my upper days, I really need to push about 4 exercises and just take them with as much workload as I feel like I can recover from, push progression on them, and just hammer those lifts and not worry about hitting always a second angle in the same day. Like I said, different days, if I want to change it up for some variety, I can do a different type of row. I can come in and incline instead of flat bench, or I can do a floor press instead of a flat bench like I did today. I think it's perfectly workable. And I think for now, I really liked the way I felt. Out of all the arm exercises I've done supersets with, you guys will see in a minute, I went with the 2 that I really have felt kind of the most pump from, or most activation through my whole arm. So it's going to be interesting choices, I think. But we did the floor presses. And the last few sets, I don't think I got 8. I got 8 at least on the first 3. And I think I got about 7 on the remaining, right? And some of these I went a little closer. I was trying to stay close to pinkies on the rings, but looking at the footage, looks like a couple of them I was a little further in. As long as I got it even on both sides. But I'm trying to mostly work right around pinkies on the rings for my benching, because for me, that's where I get the best wrist stacking. So we have the best pec hypertrophy potential, which I've discussed in numerous videos, how that works. Now the rows, I'm trying to keep them strict. I've done slightly cheating rows off the floor and gone a lot heavier in the past. So I just want to slowly build those up. I'm just going to kind of micro load them up, I think. Starting with a weight that I know I can get 10 reps with comfortably, which was without any cheating, and that was 175. So we did 180 today. Okay, and I'm just going to work on bringing those up. And I don't think I need to worry about more than about one shoulder exercise per day, and I'm going to keep it as really as my lowest exercise. I did upright rows today, kept them very strict, right around a medium grip. But I think maybe next time I might do some laterals, but I think I'll do them kind of at the end if I do them just to finish off. I might even only do one set, right? Because look how much pressing and pulling we're getting, right? We know rows do work the side delts. They work the rear delts maximally. They work the side delts. We know the interior delts are worked by benching. Of course, all my JM presses are doing the same thing. So really, I just need the side delts to get finished a little bit, and a second angle for the whole shoulder girdle. But how much work do I really need on it? If I'm doing tons of volume on this other stuff, I don't know that I need a lot there. I don't know that I do, and I could do laterals, I could do rear delt flies, any of those. I could do any of those. I can work in upright rows sometimes, but I think what I really just need is kind of a finisher there, like I oftentimes do with abs. We know abs get worked on squats and deadlifts. I'm doing beltless deadlifts and stuff right now. Okay, we know my abs are being worked. It's just a finisher. So I might do something like that. But today I did it for the first 3 sets. And I need to actually count the total sets. I just did, after the first 3 sets of supersetting them with a JM press, I just finished out with barbell curls and JM presses, and then I need to go count it. But I think I got around, well, I can see it here in the footage, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did 5 sets of curls. Okay. So that means I did 8 sets of JM presses. And I just did these supersets all the way through, and the pump in my arm got tremendous. Taking about a minute break between this. So I would do JM presses, go over and do curls, just flip the camera over to where I could, to the other angle, do the curls, and then wait about a minute, and then restart the process. And I did that until my arms just felt like they were going to kind of fall off. They got a hell of a pump. But I like the JM presses. I feel like the JM presses really carried over to my closed grip benching strength. And so I think the reasoning behind this, if I'm going to do more 10s, 8 to 10 rep range for all the big chest presses, all right, what do we know based on the data? That means the chest is going to grow more than the triceps. JM press works the triceps very similar to a bench, but it's a very full range of motion exercise for the triceps. And I know some people don't realize that when they look at it. They don't realize you're getting quite a bit of stretch at the bottom if you do it correctly. Okay? If you do it correctly, there is a full range of motion at the elbow joint, but we're doing it as a big multi-joint exercise. Okay? So the bench carryover tends to be very, very good. So my logic is, as long as I'm building the pecs and the front delts from the benching with all the volume, I've got to keep the triceps caught up. Incidentally, those same muscles get hit by the JM press. So for now, I'm thinking, just a little more specificity. I'll have at least one day every week where I come in and just bench. And then the second day, I'm thinking if I might do it as bench some weeks, and other weeks I'll go ahead and just do incline or a floor press for the second one. And then so that I'm not risking as much overuse, okay? Not risking as much overuse. And it's the same with the JM presses. I'm just going to do them until I feel like I've stimulated the workload maximally. So I'm just going to build a workload up on these. I'm going to work up towards where I can do about 10 sets with a full plate aside. And then when we get there, what are we going to do? I'll probably change the modality a little bit. But I want to do that and just superset it with the curls, because I feel like the arm pump from doing it's tremendous. Because if I'm pumping the biceps, the JM presses feel so much more stable with a bicep pump. That's the thing I've noticed with them. It creates better stability on it. The exercise just feels better. Which again also tells me I need to keep building the biceps to get pop out of the bottom of the bench for the same reason. Better bench stabilization, better pop out of the bottom. So what I'm really doing at the end is just finishing off my arms. Tons and tons of arm work after benching and rowing. And then if necessary, we'll do a little delt work just to make sure those side delts and everything are getting finished. They're getting stimulus. But I was pretty happy with today's workout overall, so I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.